What's up, guys? Welcome to OBO, Objectively Bad Opinions Podcast, episode number 31. I'm Jeff. With me tonight, Matt. Long time no see with Matt, but wonderful to have him on the show, as well as Evan. And
Yes.
We're going to chat a bunch of shit. I'm sure we'll talk about the crazy shit going on, because that's just, I don't know. I find it fascinating.
Everything that's going on in the world, like all those people eating cheeseburgers and stuff like that, right? Like,
this crazy stuff with cheeseburgers.
Is there other news that's been going on? I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I know that cheeseburger is a big deal right now.
I've heard that lots of people on my Twitter timeline are posting blue and yellow hearts, but I didn't understand the significance.
I didn't either, yeah. I thought it was for Sonic. Yeah. Anyways, you can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, Objectively Bad Pod, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel Spawn Camp. We go live every single Monday at around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Spawn Camp YouTube channel, where you can also find awesome stuff like WASD and Beyond, and Diggity, a video game podcast, as well as Build Bros. Get your Gundam, your Gundam Pla, your Gunpla stuff. I haven't got into that yet.
Neither have I.
I say yet. I like doing like model cars and stuff, so I imagine that's fun. I don't want to degrade it. I understand the high quality of a Gundam kit. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
The plastic injection molding that's done for those is insane. They do like multicolor at once and like a ton of crazy shit, like movable shit.
Okay.
Like, right out of the box. It's pretty nuts, but
yeah, it's definitely better than I only have Warhammer experience, and those just are fucking. They just you set them up and that's it. That's how they look.
Right, yeah,
definitely higher quality than that.
You'd be
most that I did was Legos. I built a Lego White House with my dad when I was like 10.
That's dope.
That was cool. We built the Sears Tower or whatever it's called now. I don't know if they've changed. I think it's the Willis Tower now.
Yeah,
whatever maybe.
Nobody fucking calls it that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the Sears Tower.
Well,
but
in Chicago, everyone would be like, they had like named it, I think, just a year or two before, and they were like, the Willis Tower, and they'd be like, shut the fuck up, dude. That's the fucking Sears Tower. But Sears is closed. Shut the fuck up, man. That's fucking...
I think the other thing we built was like the Kennedy Space Center.
That's
we built we built the rocket or something like that. Yeah,
that
like
shit's
the
nuts.
Lego
Like when you go visit that place.
Oh, I've never been. I want to. I think that's sweet. Yeah.
Where the U.S. flag is the size of a football field on the side of the fucking building.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
When you do the tour, the bus is like driving out there. You don't get to go like in that main hangar, but they drive by it to go to the space center on the tour, and he'll be like, if you look out there, you see the U.S. flag. It's painted on the tiles. It's the size of a NFL football field. Like, holy shit,
that's crazy.
It is.
That's just
nuts. Cool. It is super cool out there. They got a cool simulator and shit too, where you feel like you're floating and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. That's sweet.
Whole thing's pretty dope.
Did we say the disclaimer?
Oh yeah, it's three of the cleanest people on the show, but sure. Usually only do it when Nick's on here, but the views and opinions of the host and co-host of this podcast are those of the host and co-hosts, and not of the companies or organizations to which they're affiliated with or we're affiliated with. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's go, baby.
Good reference. Yeah, one of us is now unemployed.
Let's go.
That's me. Yeah.
That's good for. Right. We'll all be unemployed soon.
/ not good for you.
A world war.
Good for my mental.
No, we'll be employed. We'll be employed. It'll be by the United States government and the military, but
I'll be drafted with you boys. I got my draft card before I got my fucking green card.
I'm good. I'm
good too. But Evan, you and I will be in like some fucking shipping container flying drones or something like that. These assholes.
Oh, that'd be sweet, dude.
I am gonna be frontline infantry bullet fodder. I'm going to war, and I'm probably not coming back, guys. I don't think I'm fit for it.
Could you imagine Nick at war?
Oh my god!
It's like,
hey guys, what is this, dude? Nick, that's a fucking grenade pin. Where's the grenade?
I don't know. But he's like, hey, we gotta fucking turn around.
What happened?
Hey, we gotta turn the fuck around. No, we gotta go in. That's how this works.
The last words you would hear from him, you'd be clearing a house, and he would just you'd hear the pin of a grenade be pulled, and you'd hear him go 3 seconds later, right before it went off. What happened? Where'd that grenade go? And then it would just explode. Like, you wouldn't even be able to get out. Like, you motherfucker! And then it would cut, and you'd explode.
Or you just hear the pin drop. What the fuck was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it was like a quick release or whatever. It's like it's an impact
shit.
nade, and it's literally he picked it up to throw it like this, and the impact nade was just far enough where it activated when it hit the floor.
Oh my
it's
god,
like, dude,
bro.
Nick, come on, man.
Nick would be like Point Man about to like breach a building, right? And then
Yeah.
he'd like kick the like breach the door and hit gunfire, and he just turn around and be like, "Nope, not doing that shit today." It's like, no,
Not my
that's your
job.
He
job.
keep kicking the
That's
door.
your
He
whole
keep kicking the
purpose.
door, and he'd be like, "Bro, it's a fucking pole. It's a pole door."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Seriously
he
though,
would-
what are you
I
guys?
would-
What are you guys' thoughts on like how far this fucking thing goes?
I will say
I think pretty far.
quick shout out to the Ukrainian military and civilians
Yeah.
because y'all have held out for like 4 days. like
I
Oh,
know,
and they've
but I mean,
caused
I think it's got to be
massive
said
damage.
too.
Yeah.
Like I'm rooting for him, right? Obviously, but I think it's got to be
Yeah,
said too
same.
that like it's not like they're tried and true fighting against like in there. Apparently, like a lot of these were like 6-month trainees that they just
Yeah.
that Russia sent in there. Now there's
people
other
who are-
shit going in there to clean the fucking disaster up, which you know,
Sure.
is still meeting a lot of issues. But I mean, there's so many soldiers still left. Like,
Well, there was
only got 100,000 at the border, and they have like 1.2 million soldiers, I think, something like that in total.
some intelligence stated that like they estimate around 1/3 of Russia's fighting power is there. They had a total of 190,000 troops amassed, but yeah, only like 100 or whatever are actually in Ukraine or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Like, there's a
You
lot
mean,
of
yeah,
them
you
on the
mean
border.
like
Yeah.
70% of the ones that were on the border are in Ukraine now, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I read something today. I don't know if it's true. Like just because I didn't really trust the sites it was coming from, and they didn't have any sources that they posted either. But it was something about how there's like a private military company called the Waldorf Group that
Uh-huh.
is like paid like owned by a Russian oligarch, and they sent 400 PMCs to take out the entire cabinet, prime minister, mayor of Kyiv, and the president of Ukraine. And like they just learned about it today, but they were shipped over there 5 weeks ago from Africa. Like,
And like they're just
and-
waiting right now, or
well, that's what I'm saying. Like they're waiting because that's what somebody said. Where it was like,
Like, are they
well, if
fucking
they
there?
kill him,
like
well, they're like, yeah, apparently they're there. And then somebody was like, well, if they kill him, then Putin can say, well, that wasn't me. It's like that clearly was, like
yeah,
clearly was you. Like,
Yeah.
it's a loophole.
All signs kind of point to you right now.
well, because
Right.
the oligarch that owns the company has been described as like Putin's chef. Like he's a close friend of the president of Russia. So like, yeah, but it's like, yeah, one of those ways where you can just say, well, it wasn't me. But then I read something this morning, or maybe it was yesterday night, about how he had nuclear deterrent forces on high alert because he doesn't like the aggressive statements that the European Union and
which I will,
us have
I will
said.
say there's 4 levels, and that's only level 2.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So like, I
I
mean,
didn't know.
everybody. It sounds really fucking bad, but basically,
It
it
does
just
sound
means
bad.
that like they're just ready. Like they're not like ready to deploy. They're just amassed. Like they're just on alert. So like they're not even prepped.
Sure. Yeah.
So
It's
because
a
I think
weird
it's like
thing for him to say, but-
DEFCON 3 is what it sits at. So you still have 2 and 1.
Yeah. And those, yeah, that's like the same level.
Like the lower the number, the worse
Backwards.
that
Yeah.
shit is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a weird thing reading it. I mean, something's clearly up. I mean, something's always been up with him, obviously, and just how he is. But like, I mean, that's a weird thing. I mean, like, what do you expect to happen, dude? I mean, we can't fight you because you already threatened that if we send any troops in, that we will experience consequences that nobody in history has ever seen before. So if we can't physically put troops on the ground, which I don't think the U.S. would have done anyway. What other choice do we have than to choke off your economy? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
what?
the
problem
ruble right
is-
now is pretty fucking.
I made that
Dude.
joke the other day where I was like, dude, I can't
yeah.
imagine how cheap everything is in Tarkov right now.
Yeah, dude, everything is pennies on the dollar.
Bro,
Get that Alton for like 50 rubles.
the crazy thing with that is, so the ruble fell 40% or 50%. What's more wild is the
50%.
central bank just flat out said, "Hey, the stock market's closed Tuesday and Wednesday, or Monday and Tuesday." Like
Holy
it's just
shit.
not,
Wow.
it's just not operating. Which, like, I mean, when there's a big crash, you have what's known as a circuit breaker in the state, like at least in our lingo, where our stock market, pauses for a certain period of time. Can be anywhere from like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, can be
Sure.
whatever. But yeah, it was closed all day today. And it's closed all day tomorrow.
Holy shit.
Here's a weird question. Sure. Since Jeff, you're smart, you know.
He knows.
You're knowledgeable when it comes to money. Now, okay, yeah. The value of the ruble has dropped fucking significantly, right? It is dirt cheap right now.
Yeah.
Would it not be a smart idea to just invest in just like exchange US dollar for a bunch of rubles and then wait for that value to go back up and then
I mean, I thought
reconvert it back?
I thought about Forex trading. The problem is that like if you wanted to do it, you would buy bonds, but then you don't really want to buy the bonds because then the Russian government could just be like, "Hey, we're just not going to pay those bonds."
Right, and that's why I was like, you know,
but if
can
you
I go to my
trade,
local bank
you're talking about like dollar
request,
to ruble.
Yeah, like can I go to my local bank and be like, "Yo, give me like 10,000 rubles for like fucking $24?"
I don't know if they'd have one on hand.
And just wait.
They'd have to
obviously,
order that, but yeah. And
they have to order it and you have to wait.
They can't trade it.
What do you mean?
They can't get that money.
Oh, like they like now, or could they not have done it before either?
They could have done it before. I don't even know if they can online trade because the fucking their central bank is closed effectively for the next 2 days.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
That's why I was like, I don't know if this is a smart question or a dumb question.
I would completely stay away from it because the sanctions that hit, like the problem with sanctions is these aren't going away, and it like sanctions only like hurt their economy like earliest like a month in. Like none of this means shit right now. Like they've basically still have cash flow for a month. Yeah. I mean it sucks, right? Because the ruble is useless, and then like what's gonna suck is like they can't get certain things like semiconductor chips and which leads to computers, laptops, all that kind of shit. But
you can't get 3080s now.
Yeah, but they're shitty.
I mean, could they ever really?
No.
Yeah, they could. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, they could have.
Yeah.
I can't. I hate the United
States.
I mean the crazy thing is, right, is like it's Russia, so like they're gonna find a fucking way to get it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't like they're gonna pay more for it, or there's gonna be like some dirty shit behind it, but they're still gonna try to find it and get it. So I mean the craziest thing about all this to me is like I feel like the sanctions are more of an excuse for Russia to escalate rather than an actual deterrence.
Right. Okay, I see what you mean.
So like
not that explain that to me.
So like not that it's being done because it looks good for politicians. It should be done. But like when you sanction somebody like Russia right now, none of those sanctions are really doing shit right now. Most of the sanctions have crazy exemptions. Like I think they just like tightened up a bunch of them. But for example, like when and this is not political at all, so I don't want to see some fucking stupid shit in the chat, or after on Twitter. But the first round of sanctions that we put on had so many exemptions to the sanctions against Russia that they were like worthless. Like pretty much unless you were like trading art to a museum, like it didn't fucking matter. You could pretty much go around any other way to do it. Now, when they're going to get rid of SWIFT, that's fucking huge.
That's a big one.
Because
I saw that and I was like, oh shit.
Visa, nothing will fucking work in that country.
Oh wow.
On top of that, a lot of international trade and stuff like that is not going to like cease entirely because like I'm not gonna ship you products if you're not gonna be able to pay me.
Well, and they just sanctioned today, like the U.S. sanctioned a bunch of stuff where it's just like any and all business out of like Russia's just not gonna be conducted. So like, which is crazy because like in Russia, a lot of people use above like the ruble, they use the U.S. dollar a lot. Like it like.
Right.
In our economy, we just sit here and use dollars all the time, right? There, like it's a hybrid.
They use like a variety.
Oh yeah, it's a hybrid for all over the place. Like most businesses are using a dollar, right? So, but I don't know. I feel like it's just like to answer your question, Matt. Like the sanctions are good now, but like if you're crazy like what Russia's done and you want to go to war, like obviously you're expecting sanctions, right? So you don't really give a fuck because you're gonna go to war.
You have to be able to maintain yourself without outside help.
And then you're just giving escalation.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they point blank came out and said that they would do shit if people did sanctions or provided stuff. And what are they doing? They're doing sanctions and providing shit. So it's like, What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? I mean, there's gonna be some crazy, like they're gonna get it leads to desperation, and it's like back in a fucking vicious dog in the corner, right? Like it's gonna fucking bite you. So it's
sure
gonna like there'll be a cyber attack if they get fucking desperate. I mean, you know, they could sit there and say, yeah, it's not going good for the first 4 or 5 days of trying to take Ukraine, because I think what the original report was that they could take Ukraine over in about like 72 hours.
Yeah, they said within 3 days they could get to the
that's
capital.
What they thought, which didn't happen. So now you've got a dude like psychologically who like wants to appear tough. Well, now he's appearing weak. So what does he have to do? He has to escalate. He has to make it worse.
Yes.
Which means,
which is just going to escalate everything else in the entire world. And yeah,
I mean that means that comes with using different techniques and just bombing the shit out of the place rather than.
That's what they were doing.
Yeah,
I posted in the other Discord today that apparently they used a vacuum bomb today, which is against Geneva conventions.
Supposedly,
yeah, you can't do that.
I don't think they
what the fuck is a vacuum bomb?
It pulls the oxygen,
the atmosphere in.
Yeah, it sucks
so
the atmosphere
it's
in
an
to give it a
imploding bomb.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
Imploding, yeah. So like if you throw that into like a crowd of people, it would just like suck their brains out of their fucking skulls.
The Moab is the mother of all bombs is a vacuum bomb. It's basically the second biggest explosion you could get without using any sort of nuclear power. Yeah, it is huge.
And the nice thing about it's all isolated.
Now, it damages your insides as well as just killing people.
The pressure changes. That would, I mean,
yeah,
that's essentially just literally going into space.
Yeah. Oh, you just put them into a vacuum chamber.
Yeah, you're just squeezing them.
Okay, well, with what you just said, that leads to the next question. What the fuck is the biggest non-nuclear explosion you can do?
No, the Moab.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry. I meant it's the biggest non-nuclear. Yeah,
okay.
I screwed that
you
up.
had said, okay. Evan said the second biggest non-nuclear. So I was like, what is above that?
I think we can't confirm it yet if that actually happened.
No, and it'll probably be a few days before.
But they've been cluster bombing, which is kind of fucked up. They've
been doing that to residential areas
because it's not a military target. It's not a.
Yeah, they've been doing it to residential areas like apartments and stuff.
Then it just fucking throws 4 or 5 other cluster bombs out of it.
I will say, so like everyone has been like shitting on Russia because like Ukraine has been doing a very good job of like repelling Russia in terms of like the casualty ratio of like 300 Ukrainians versus like 300 Ukrainians versus like 3,000 or 4,500. Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are, but like very minimal Ukrainian casualties versus a lot of Russian casualties.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was interesting because like Russia was never very good in terms of like
war.
In terms of war, right? They were always we win by numbers, not by like tactics or equipment. Like I mean, you look at the World War II. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Other than the genocide that Stalin did.
Yeah.
We can forget about that. There was still
getting close to that
massive. Yeah, there was a massive amount of casualties from the Russians in World War II. Like they suffered the most, if not the second most, next to Germany.
Because I mean, Germany just kind of invaded Stalingrad and just killed everybody. They had I'm sure probably the highest in terms of a military infantry soldier amount, and then as well as civilians, they probably had the highest as well.
Yeah, Russia has never been very good in terms of tactics and having a strong force that is tough to deal with. They just have numbers where they've had throw so many bodies at you that they eventually overwhelm you.
So that's a great thing too, and I don't necessarily disagree, but they have had good. They've had good equipment. Like the T-29 was the best tank that they ever had. I was watching a documentary a while ago where I can't remember the battle name, but it was in Russia. It was I think before Stalingrad, and it was Hitler wanted to use his new, I think it was the Tiger tanks or the Panzers or Panthers or whatever. Yeah, he wanted to use his brand new tanks, but they had very little of them.
Panzers.
They had, it might have been the Tiger.
The Tiger. The Tiger is better than the Panzer.
Yeah, he wanted to use those, but they had so little of them. They were great tanks. Like they were able to withstand. They could reload faster. They had a higher yield, like in terms of their ammo that they used, better armor. But like you said, and this goes along with what you said. Yeah, this goes along with what you said.
Not very good mobility.
No, and that's where they lost. Is that
yeah,
they had way more T-29s or T-31s, one of the two.
Whatever. Yeah, they had other tanks.
Yeah, they had way more of them, and then they were faster. So in the time it took them to turn to be able to actually face that T-31 or whatever, the T-31 had already moved positions and was already reloading, getting ready to fire. And then they figured out that like shoot it in the ass, and that'll like basically that's where its fuel tanks are. Once you shoot the fuel tank of a tank or with a freaking tank shell, there's really not much they can do. Like
that's why it bothered me so much in the movie Fury.
Oh
when they come across the fucking Tiger tank and they literally just have like 3 tanks just go at it in a straight line instead of like spreading out and trying to flank it and surround it. That shit bothered me. I'm like, that is very poor tactics. Okay.
Yeah. And America was not very good in terms of their tank game in World War II either. I mean, but the Shermans did not hold their own against Tigers. They were just
they were like
World War II was the Allied logistics supply.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Allied logistics supplies. That was the whole reason we like won World War II.
Oh yeah, and
I mean,
we
that's
also
why they fail so hard right now with
lines.
Russia. Like, have you seen this shit where like they have a whole fucking convoy roll through, and then like all in one fucking line, like their water, their oil, their food, everything, all
easy
that kind of
pickings.
shit. And then they get fucking blown up. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
did they
easy
expect?
pick. And
that's
now
why they've been winning so much. But they've got a 40-mile long convoy outside of Kyiv.
That is not how you do that, Russia. I'm sorry. Break that shit up, spread it out.
Yeah, but know when and they're spaced out every 2 to 3 miles. But like some guy. Okay, so some guy on Twitter, really reputable dude in the ONZIT community, but he was matching it to the Institute for the Study of Wars, like protocols on like nuclear usage, and it's like to a T. Basically, you would keep those vehicles at a certain distance outside of the city and a huge convoy so that you can nuke, and then basically you go in as one giant convoy right after the nuke.
Oh. That's you don't want to do that. That's a lot of radiation. And
well, that would just change the entire global dynamic for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. The moment that Russia launches a nuke, it is game over for them. The entire force of the world is coming down upon them.
That's like a thing where it's like China would be like, dude, like we are crazy, like we're fucked up, but like, whoa. Hold on.
I saw in a news article right before this episode.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, it was misleading, of course, obviously, but it was, talking about, very clickbaity, where it was like, oh, China fucking betrays the Biden administration in terms of like, Russia and
like how they
Ukraine.
Haven't said that it's bad or whatever. Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah, and so like apparently over the last couple of months there has been a couple of different meetings with China telling China to tell Russia don't do it.
Yeah.
And then China goes, we're going to stay out of it. Russia, we're not going to, this is what USA wants us to do, and we're just not going to listen to them. You do your own thing. Yeah, and so then that automatically turns into the fucking headline of China betrays Russia, the U.S. And it's they didn't betray us. We went to them like, hey, tell Russia to fuck it off. And they were like,
nah.
Yeah, no, we're not going to get in the middle of this shit. Like, Russia, you do your own thing.
And they've said, and I've seen conflicting things from different officials from China who have said, like, some of them have gone and said, we believe in sovereign states and sovereign nations. We don't think that like this is very good. But then the official statement has been like that, like when they had the Security Council meeting a couple days ago, which hilariously, the Russian Federation is the president of that Security Council.
That's weird.
There's like 14 or 15 countries that are involved there. 11 of them voted yes for condemning Russia. 1 voted no. Take a guess who that one is.
Russia.
And then three voted. 3 abstained. I think it was China, India, and I can't think of the third one.
Yeah.
And India basically said it in the way I think they basically said, well, the way they did it was weird because the real like the way you would have looked at it is like they didn't want to stick up for or say anything about Ukraine because they were so worried about themselves. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, how do you expect the rest of the world to stick up for you when you won't stick up for one of them?
Well, and they're also in a hard spot because they're
they're in a difficult
large
position.
Population, but they're still in many ways like a developing nation. Like
they're very
they're
absolutely
like the dichotomy of like outside villages versus like Mumbai.
Right.
Like fucking crazy
it's black and
differences.
white.
Yeah. So I mean, they've got their own interests, right? But yeah, one thing that's interesting to me, like I get it, I understand it. I guess in the spirit of protest is the pouring out of Russian vodka, but the problem is like that's already purchased.
Yeah,
like it's already on the shelf, and like the difference.
I have seen Sorry, continue.
No worries. What you saw, like photos and stuff like that of all that shit going on.
I've seen multiple businesses that are like, hey, we're not serving Russian vodka until this all blows over.
Which is like fine. Like in the bars, I understand that because then they can't reorder it. But like, the liquor store that you go to, they've already bought that shit, and now you're just trying to buy it. Not that it's the best vodka. I think it's not great at all. But from a Polish vodka, but I don't know. I don't get it. I don't really understand it fully. Like, if anything, I mean, I don't know. Mix it with some stuff. Mix it with some like Hawaiian Blue Punch.
Good point.
That's Hawaiian.
You want to know something else I don't understand is when I was watching them vote for the Security Council thing of condemning Russia. Hilarious thing is I thought it was more put up to a vote, and then if it was more people said yes and then people said no, then that's how it went. Apparently no, because if one person votes no, then it doesn't matter.
Like,
you can't like it. No, it's just they're not condemned. So Russia voted no, and my buddy Derek posted on Twitter. He goes, "Can we just all talk about how stupid of a rule that is? Like the guy on trial doesn't get to vote with the jury."
Is that because he was the president?
No, because
I also found that fucking ridiculous.
Because you're a member, you have a veto. And so if it so happens that in this council, one of them is doing a bad thing, they can just veto the council. Dude, and now they're not.
That makes zero sense.
Not that the United States has to be it, but why the fuck was Russia the president of the fucking UN Council?
I have no idea.
Like how
the UN Security Council.
UN Security Council. Sorry, yes. How the fuck did that come to be? Not to say that, like, again, that the US should be it or somebody. But holy fuck. Yeah, I mean, like, we're just gonna pick the person that literally does nothing but fuck with everybody cyber attack wise. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
What, like, how that became a thing? Like, let's let North Korea be next. I mean, like, Jesus, like, what an absurd thing to do.
It should definitely be a system of like a 2/3 majority type of deal.
I also don't really understand what the UN does right now in all of this.
I don't really know what they're doing.
Honestly,
it's just kind of like press to me is what it looks like.
Oh yeah, no. The thing with the UN is like it's great in theory until it's like, hey, Russia is doing something that we don't agree with. What are we going to do about it? We're going to send them a lot of letters and tell them to stop doing it.
I know they've got, like the blue helmets. Okay. That's cool. Like they go in after the wars and stuff like that and they help out. I understand that. Right. But like, what role do they have in this, honestly?
So I just looked it up. I don't have that answer right now, but I did have it. I looked up the Security Council thing.
Okay.
Right.
So the Security Council consists of 15 members, of which 5 are permanent. The ones that are permanent are the People's Republic of China, the French Republic, the Russian Federation, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the United States of America.
Why the fuck is Russia and China permanent?
Permanent members can veto any substantive resolution.
So only 5 fucking countries can veto.
The 5 most powerful countries, one could argue.
Veto power. Under Article 27 of the UN Charter, Security Council decisions on all substantive matters require the affirmative votes of 3/5, i.e. 9 of the members. A negative vote or veto by a permanent member prevents adoption of a proposal even if it has received the required vote.
Jeez.
Abstention is not required as a veto.
Yeah, that needs to be changed.
That's the dumbest shit I've heard in my life.
The non-permanent members, so the other members of it right now, are Albania, Brazil, Gabon, Ghana. I think I said that correctly.
Ghana,
India, Ireland, Kenya, Mexico, Norway, and the UAE. So that was the other one who abstained. It was the UAE, China, and India. They all abstained. Everybody else voted yes, and then Russia was the only one that voted.
Yeah, because China's in fucking Russia's back pocket. And the crazy thing is, right, if you choose the crazy guy on your fucking team, you got to be as crazy as him, if not crazier. Or else he's going to fucking come after you.
You got to match that
how
vibe.
Fucking weak you are.
Yeah, you got to match the vibe.
You got to match the vibe.
Oh, dude, guaranteed. If Russia actually takes over Ukraine, which I really do think it will take over Ukraine, but when
I think it will eventually.
Yeah, I mean,
if with strong. No other interference, yeah.
Right. So when Russia takes that over, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if China starts making a move on Taiwan.
You want to know the funny shit?
Apparently, and I'm not going to base this on any actual facts. This is just something that I heard.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, apparently North Korea has also been trying to launch nukes at Japan.
No. So North Korea
launched
North Korea launched a satellite, or reconnaissance satellite, a couple of days ago, and
it crashed.
The booster, no, it went up, but bro, it's got like a 4 megapixel camera in that bitch. It's awful. They sent photos of it. I thought someone had Vaseline on the lens or something, dude. It looked like an old porno.
We can learn so much,
bro.
I heard that. Rough. I had heard that it was that
that's funny.
North Korea had targeted Japan with another nuke, and then of course
it was
fell into the ocean.
It was the booster, one of the stage boosters from the rocket to send the satellite up into the bay. And I mean, South Korea, they don't give a fuck, right? This thing could hit a fucking dog in a park, and they'd be like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah. This is exactly why I'm a perfect example of why you don't get your news from social media. Yeah, because you're like, "Hey, didn't this happen?" And everyone goes, "No." You fucking idiot, and you're like, okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's hard, man. It's hard to find.
Well, no, it's difficult to find news. Real shit.
If you don't physically watch the news, then you
not
have
only that. If you don't dig around,
if you're not there, I think is what you mean, right? If you're not physically seeing it happen.
Yeah.
Well, no. I meant just in general, if you don't watch a credible news station, right? If you're not watching. Right, yeah. If you're not watching, if for us, it would be something like, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, things like that. If you're not watching one of those and you're just getting your information from social media,
people tweeting about
you're going to have a bad time like me because I don't watch the news. It's not something that is important to me to where I bother with it. Mm-hmm. And then I just will randomly see random articles across social media feeds. And I'm just like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know if that's real or not. And then I talk to people like you guys, and they're like, and you guys are like, no, that's not true. And it's
I thought it was a missile too. Yeah, I didn't think it was a nuke, but I thought it was a missile. But Jeff obviously cleared that up, thankfully.
It was okay. I should say it specified missile. I took it as more nuclear testing
because that's what North Korea's
my bad. That is my.
Well, no, they're not trying to test nukes. They're trying to test the They're trying to test the distance of their propulsion system.
They're trying to see how far they can get.
I mean, the nuke is just on the head of the fucking thing. It's not
right. You have to figure out how to get it there first.
Yeah, so they're just trying to get their ICBM.
I remember seeing that what they posted when they finally spoke up about the whole. Yeah, they spoke up about. We shouldn't be worried about that at all. We spoke about the Ukraine and Russia conflict, and North Korea was like, yeah, it's all America. And I was like, man, you guys just say the same shit every time something could you get something new, please? New material.
Come at us with something, bro. I've seen this skit.
Anyone have any launch codes?
Yeah, North Korea is that country where it's like your little brother where he's trying to hit you and you're just holding him by his head and he just can't hit you. That's what they are.
In the air.
When I think of them, I'm like, dude, you are.
Yeah, I don't really fucking take him seriously anymore because it's the same shit every time. New fucking president comes in, they threaten shit to see what they can get out of that.
And it's the son of the guy from before.
Yeah, and they threaten for shit because they don't have fucking food and other stuff because they won't give up their fucking dictatorship. And it's just the same old shit. How far can I fucking get with these people? It's just but that shit's nuts. You imagine if Russia was like, fuck it, we're gonna work with North Korea.
That would be wild. That would not be good for the rest of the world.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry, Russia, China, and North Korea working together.
Yeah, that'd be some dirty war.
That's That's bad news.
I truly think that. So Russia, like, okay, what's amazing is on Twitter, like him or not, I don't really give a shit. I can't vote, so it doesn't really matter. But Marco, that's like my
Marco Rubio.
Yeah, Marco Rubio is
he's the intelligence head of the
Senate, vice president of the Senate Intelligence
Committee.
Yeah. And he's been posting stuff like on the regular to Twitter about like, not like stuff that he can't tell us, but trying to as much as possible, like just fascinating
things that he can say. Yeah,
like just fascinating things. It's like the horrifying strikes by Putin invaders are increasingly being captured on live feeds and cell phone videos. Less documented is how his convoys are being repeatedly ambushed and destroyed even in areas Russia controls. And then he goes to say the mission from Sumy and Chernihiv is to eventually control East Kyiv, moving cautiously to evade major resistance. The mission from north is ASAP control of West Kyiv, so they are moving far more aggressively. He's like, Kherson is last 50 minutes ago, Kherson is under withering assault. Expect Russia to go to great lengths to prevent news and images to emerge because the world will be horrified by the crimes they are committing there. I saw crazy.
I saw a couple of pictures today from CNN of a 6-year-old girl who was injured by a bomb, and they got pictures of her.
Sure, there's so many civilian casualties we don't know about.
Yeah, no, and there's other. I mean, and the crazy thing too is I know that there's fake media, and I know there's disinformation campaigns and all that kind of shit. But like, it's really come to my eyes so much clearer now with this happening, because it's like I love seeing the people who are like, bro, look at this fucking SU-35 that just is like avoiding shit, and I'm watching. I'm like, that's fucking Arma 3, you dumb bitch.
Speaking of the disinformation campaigns, I've seen so many videos of like, oh, here's a fucking a MiG-10 jet or whatever.
Whatever.
Oh my god, like old videos from like 2014 and shit, and just
they're just video games.
I've seen so many where it's like, oh, Russia is invading Ukraine. Look at all of the fucking air. The air superiority that they have, and I'm like, that's Arma 3. That's a video game. They don't even have stupid.
As of right now, they still don't even have air superiority, which is hilarious. But it's like somebody. Well, the funny thing is that that little rumor or myth came out about the Ghost of Kyiv, who shot down 6 jets.
Now it's 14.
Okay, 14. So they figured out that it's they figured out that it's probably not real, but it's obviously a legend or an urban legend, so it's kind of
propaganda.
It's inspiring. Yeah. It's inspiring, but it wasn't propaganda in that, like, as of right now, as people know, Ukraine didn't create that. That was socially created by just people on Twitter and stuff like that who just came up with it.
Just takes one person.
Yeah, it just took that. And then the funny thing is that the picture that everybody's been posting, they got that from a YouTube video. And in that YouTube video, the guy says in the description openly, he goes, "This is just a tribute to the potentially real Ghost of Kyiv. This is footage that I created from Digital Combat Simulator." But he made it completely honest. He's like, "This is not actual footage."
Yeah. And then people fucking ran with it.
And then everybody just ran with it. And apparently, if that's real, I'll look it up just so I have it now. If that guy is real, like, if he actually shot down 6 jets, as of the 27th of February, this is just from Wikipedia, and this has been updated as things have gone. It is given to an unconfirmed MiG-29 Fulcrum flying ace credited with shooting down 6 Russian planes in the Kyiv offensive on February 24th. According to the Security Service of Ukraine, he has shot down 10 Russian jets as of the 27th of February. Although not confirmed to be real, he has been credited as a morale booster. If he actually did that, if he shot down 6 jets in a single day, he would have been
incredible.
The ace. If he actually did that, that would be the first recorded fighter ace of the 21st century, and he would also be an ace in a day, which obviously is shooting down 6 planes in a single day. And it's just super rare for things like that to happen now, not only because
6 planes.
6 planes.
Why is that an ace instead of? I'm confused. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I don't know why they call it that either. But yeah, he is. It's supposedly that he has shot down. The 6 planes were reported as. He had 6 air fights in the first 30 hours and won all of them. The planes are reported as 2 Su-35s, 2 Su-25s, an Su-27, and a MiG-29. if that, yeah, but like the crazy thing is that if that guy is real, which I don't believe he is, just because of the rarity of actually shooting down, not only winning just one dogfight, but winning 6 is incredible, especially against I think several planes in that list that are way more advanced than.
Oh yeah, these are like
MiG-29.
Soviet era fucking aircraft that's flying around. I don't think it's real. I think it's just.
I don't think it's real either. And I'm looking
cool.
at just. It's a cool idea.
Don't get me wrong.
Right?
It's cool, but it's not. I don't think it's real.
Like, okay, great thing. For instance,
that's top gun level shit.
Yeah, the MiG-29 that this guy is supposedly flying was introduced in 1982. The Su-35 was introduced in 2014. And the Su-25 was 1981. So the Su-35 is fucking brand new.
Although it doesn't matter.
Whoa,
it doesn't matter
news,
how good
news.
your equipment is. If you're just better, then get wreck scrub. All right.
Yeah, sure. Good point. He is skins equals wins, right?
Breaking news.
Exactly.
Breaking news.
What's breaking news?
Okay, so Senator Lindsey Graham gets out of the classified briefing and he says, "I expect a scorched earth policy to unfold here in the coming days regarding Ukraine. I expect wholesale slaughter of Ukrainian citizens by the Russian military." Following the briefing, Schumer said, "What I told my colleagues in the room is that my strong and sincere hope is that we, the United States, can stay unified as well. That will send a clear signal to Putin that the United States stands behind the people of Ukraine." Romney said, "This is a terrible, stupid decision on the part of Putin. This is very bad for him long term, and Russia will suffer enormously because of this terrible decision he's made." Romney also praised the administrations for rallying allies. Okay, yeah, whatever. That's crazy.
That's incredible, and that's the funny thing is that they come out of the meeting, and this is a bit more political in that sense, but like they come out of that meeting saying like we need to stay together, but then, and this isn't mostly the senators, I'm assuming it's more of the House Republicans, but a lot of representatives are just like, Biden's being super fucking weak about this and this, and like even Nick gave a great example where he's like, a lot of people that relate or agree with that side of which is not all of them, it's not a blanket term, but like the people that he knows at work that talk like that or think like that, they're like, well, Biden's being pretty weak because he's just not sending our guys in. And he gave a great example, and I'll tell the story for him because I knew he would have told it tonight if he was on, where he's talking to somebody at work, and the guy at work was like, well, if they just send in a couple of Marines, everything will be just fine. And Nick was like, do you know what a Spetsnaz is? And he was like, doesn't matter if it's Russian. And he's like, these are people who are like the equivalent of Navy SEALs, if not worse.
Yeah, Green Beret, Navy SEAL level.
Spetsnaz? Yeah.
Spetsnaz, you don't fuck with them. You fuck with the regular infantry.
Yeah. This guy was like, it doesn't matter. A Marine will cook his ass. And I was like, listening to him, and I'm like, no, they won't. Like, they will lose. That
strictly
you don't win.
Hand-to-hand combat, man. They're trained fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, they're training crazy shit.
That's the type of training where like you are literally drowned,
like
and you just have to like not die, and then
you're trained
go,
like
hey, you're in and you're not.
Think you're dead. Like, so there's no point. Like, your body is just the vessel to complete the mission or operation.
You are already a dead person just waiting to die.
Yeah.
So the one thing I will say on this is I think what's going to happen is because you have all these sanctions and you're squeezing people to figure out where they can put their money, I feel like all of this money is just going to move to China.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
And it's going to make China stronger,
even more powerful. Yeah.
And it's going to make Russia rely on China, and in due, China will slowly financially take over Russia, essentially.
I could see that. Yeah, that's definitely an actual possibility.
I mean, because you can't use the dollar. You can't use any of the NATO shit, so you're not going to use the euro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't even fucking fly in. You're stuck there.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if China took over a little bit of Russia in exchange for,
I don't know, something,
their financial support. Here's something that I want to bring up, and this is a little bit of theory crafting, but I have seen a lot of posts on social medias about how what the country needs is, or what our country, the USA, not Russia or anything like that, what our country needs currently during this is President Donald Trump. Now, I think that that's not a good stance to have, personally, just because I feel like, yes, while we did have good relations with Russia while President Donald Trump was in office. I feel like if Trump was in office, we really wouldn't be trying to do anything to hinder Russia, right?
Oh,
because
no, we wouldn't have done
they were buddy type of deal.
They still are.
I mean, the whole thing's a
like,
what if burger. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah.
The fucking problem
that's why
here
I said
is that
it's a bit
everyone
of
went through
theory
COVID.
crafting.
I mean, I think it would have fucking happened regardless because everyone went through fucking COVID. The only reason our fucking country is alive after fucking COVID financially is because most of our shit is based on debt and it's not actual value within the fucking. We don't follow the gold standard. We follow debt. Like a bill says it's just a note. It's a note of debt for a fucking dollar bill. And it's just, we have a lot of fucking weapons and it's the most accepted fucking currency because of that. Otherwise, we'd be in the same fucking boat as Russia where they're just desperate. Like, the whole reason why he took over that shit is because he didn't want Ukraine to be NATO, because NATO countries are not, I'm not rationalizing why he did it, but NATO countries started moving over more and more on the west side of Russia, and he's getting blocked in. And what was he going to do? He's going to get backed into a corner, and his dictatorship would have to fall eventually when he's not going to fucking do that. I mean, he's been president for 20 years, 20 plus years.
Yeah, which is another thing. Do you really trust someone who goes, I'm president for life now? It's like, that's not a presidency. It's like, no, I'm president for life.
It's not.
No, it's not.
The thing is, and what I was saying earlier too, and like what Nick was talking about with that guy at work or whatever, is that I was like, you know what's funny is that guy, and like I'm sure a lot of other people in the United States right now are like, well, just send our guys over there. But when we send our guys over there and then you get pictures of them dying, you're gonna go, how could we do that? Why would President Biden do that? It's like you're gonna complain if he doesn't. You're gonna complain if he does.
We should not send anybody over.
We should.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, which is why I just don't, because then now you're not putting a guy's age, or a guy my age.
Additionally, the actual like support of military troops
intervention
in military intervention to Ukraine will actually escalate this to World War III, right? We have to be very diplomatic. We have to be very diplomatic about it until we can't anymore.
Dude,
right? Because the moment that
Ukraine's taken it, that's it. Because he's gonna take Ukraine, it's gonna be fucking worthless when he has it. Because it will have
and then he's
all
gonna
its assets to the EU, because it's signed to the EU today. It's signed to the bloc today, so it's going to move all of its financial assets to the EU the moment he takes it over. So
he just gets the land.
Essentially gets the land with a worthless currency, the ruble, and then with no ability to trade, essentially creating a massive North Korea, and then basically,
and then
terrifying.
It's just going to. And then it's just gonna
continue going.
Sprout. He's gonna start going over fucking.
Poland.
He's gonna start trying to take over. Poland, Finland, Belarus,
Italy.
Latvia. I'm looking at the map right now. Romania. I don't know all of these countries.
Bye. They're gonna ask for you to come back and defend your country. You gotta go, buddy.
Lithuania, Latvia. Like they're gonna just continue trying to take over more and more, because they're gonna take Ukraine and go, okay, this didn't help us as a country as much as we had hoped it did.
You would have been better off not doing anything.
But he's gone crazy.
He is going crazy, and that's the thing, and that's what my mom actually said today, where she's like, I just don't understand, and because she doesn't know anything about it, and she doesn't pretend that she does, and she just was like, I don't understand how you could work next to a guy like that and not think to yourself, holy fuck, this guy's fucking crazy. Like, I got to do something about this.
Because you're crazy
that's what
too.
I was gonna say, typically he's only gonna pick people who are as crazy as he is or believe in his vision, so that way he doesn't have to worry about that. And it's like, sure, there have been cases throughout history where people have tried to do Hitler. That, but like. Yeah, well, like in Hitler, there were plenty of people in Hitler's not inner circle, but even potentially in his inner circle, where they were like, "This guy's fucking mad. We got to do something about this."
I mean, there's 144 million people in that country, in Russia.
But then look at Stalin, right? Stalin systematically killed people that got close to him, not even because they did anything, but just because he wasn't going to let it happen.
So he would need to be the tough guy.
Yeah, he always, and that's how he kept people in line, was that like, you don't know when you're going to get it.
I mean,
I haven't done anything. You don't know. I'll still get it to you. Like,
something that we don't like. The history books don't talk about is how like Stalin was so much worse than Adolf Hitler.
Oh, he was. Yeah, my babsha and Judge
people.
lived through that shit. It's fucking
he started
terrible.
like 26 million people. Like,
yeah. It was literally like I think Adolf Hitler killed about 11 million people in total.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like 6 or 7 million were Jewish, but there was also,
Yeah, when he went through Poland, he just fucking killed anybody.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Hitler's a bad fucking guy. But we view Stalin as a fucking hero because he was on the right side of history, even though he killed like 26 million people.
He was only on the right side of history because he fucking attacked Germany back because they betrayed him.
Yeah,
And
they
started invading.
and he steamrolled through Poland
Germany
again 'cause they're so weak.
If Germany didn't invade Russia,
That motherfucker would have been the same
things
side.
would have been fine for them. Let's be honest. If Germany didn't invade Russia and Japan didn't attack the United States,
That would have been something completely different.
Germany would control all of Europe still today because we'd be like, not our fucking problem, you know?
Yeah, I mean, FDR would have definitely stepped in for Britain's sake just because he liked Winston Churchill. They were good buddies.
FDR was a lame president, though.
Because he couldn't walk?
No, he's regarded as a lame president.
He's regarded as one of the best.
He's regarded as a lame president in like war stuff, in the basis of like, if you see like what is now, like comparison of like kind of sitting back.
Sure, I see what you mean. I mean, he was
lame, not
obviously
meaning like terrible. Like I mean lame, like lame
right.
duck, like sits there, like kind of was just like, hey,
because he couldn't walk. Yeah, that's why he sat there. That's why he sat there.
No, because he kind of he couldn't really do anything.
Well, yeah. Well, I know what you mean, but typically lame duck is meant as like Donald Trump. Like he lost the election, so he's currently waiting to transition power.
Okay,
that's typically what lame duck means. That's not like, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. But yeah, I mean, motherfucker was the only president to be elected 4 fucking times.
I mean, in all fairness, it was at that time of World War II type of deal. You know, like I'm sorry, I brought something up and I already lost my train of thought.
I get it.
No, like
totally get
the United States military wasn't really anything to be feared or revered, you know? It wasn't all that great. It wasn't until the involvement of World War II that we really became a military powerhouse that we are today.
And I get what Jeff's saying too about it, because it's like, yeah, I mean, realistically, in terms of what we did as a military, we actually, a great example like Matt made earlier, we just threw bodies at it. I mean, D-Day was like, we won D-Day because there were sheer numbers of people storming the beaches all at the same time.
Yeah. Between the Canadian and the British,
just meat shields.
I believe that there was another one, but yeah, like the U.S. got it the worst, and I think that we suffered like 2,500 or 3,000 casualties on D-Day because we just fucking all bodies to the beach, you know.
It was Omaha, where Omaha was just the U.S. 29th and 1st Infantry Divisions. It was just us.
You had Canadian forces along with British forces.
And they went to the other ones. They went to
other beaches
Romeo or Golds. They went to the other beaches. Were
and they recovered, and they had
so
zero
there was
resistance.
1,065 deaths on D-Day for Canada and 1,465 deaths for America on D-Day.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I did not know that about Canada.
You got to look at it
Canada
from the
used to have a
perspective
massive fucking army, and then after that happened, they decided no more. They didn't want to do war like that anymore.
Well, yeah, because war is stupid. You know, we've been doing it since the fucking prehistoric times.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it comes about, though. Like, think about just even 5 weeks ago.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, 5 weeks ago, everything in the world seemed great.
2 weeks ago. Right? We're like, we're getting out of COVID, all this shit, and then boom!
Right into something else.
Right into this crazy shit.
And this
is a seriously crazy game of Civ 6 that we're playing right now, you guys.
Dude, are you kidding me? Holy shit. I don't know what I would do. It's bad. Well, it's like, and Jeff had a good point earlier where it's like, we're kind of just backing him into a corner, but it's like, what... This is a question, obviously, that if either of you have a better, or not a better answer, but if you have an answer, I want to hear it. But then I would also ask our elected officials this. Okay, well, if sending people over there is not the move, which I don't believe it is, I don't want to send our buddies over there. I don't want to send fucking Elliot over there.
Yeah. I don't want to send my ex-roommate there.
That motherfucker's not going to do shit regardless.
Like, kind of a bitch, but I don't want to send him to Ukraine.
I don't want to send him to Ukraine. And then, so I obviously disagree with sending our troops over there. But then they're like, well, that's not enough. And it's like, okay, what about sanctions? That's not enough. It's like, well, then give us, instead of telling me what's not enough, tell me what is enough that isn't sending our boys over there. Because that's the bigger question. And then what Jeff said earlier is that we're just pissing him off or not pissing him off, but we're backing him into a corner, turning him into a dog that's just going to bite to defend itself. So we're strangling their economy right now. Obviously, like you said, it would take at least a month for it to do anything realistically.
Yeah.
And then
a month or
it's
two,
like, so what are his options? And then what do we do in response to those options? And nobody I've seen anywhere on Twitter, actual news sites, whatever, no elected official, Senate or Congress has said anything about it. They've just gone, sanctions are good. Sanctions aren't good. President Biden is weak. President Biden is strong. It's like, why are we consistently putting it on him every single time? Which, I mean, I get it. He's a fucking president, but like, why are we consistently? It's always a blame game with people.
Oh yeah, no, 100% all the time.
I think there's a benefit here though to him going nuts. So like,
you think so?
I mean, I think a real dark benefit.
Elaborate.
The dark benefit is that every fucking day that it gets worse and worse and worse, it creates the quantification to take him out.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I see what you mean.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't
care.
So like, here's the thing, right? Like, if the U.S. wanted to fucking go to, like, you can't go to, like, the game's fucking changed since like the World Wars, right? Because now you have nukes, right?
The Cold War,
and a ton of nukes, like not like one or two.
Yeah,
nukes
and Russia is the next leading country.
Yeah,
no, they're the number one country with.
They have more than we do.
Yes.
Well, that's because we've been like trying to reduce the amount of nukes that we have.
Yes,
but we were talking to them last year about reducing them.
I think they have. Okay, hold on. Let me see here.
We were actually talking to them last year. There was some sort of discussion they were having last year about reducing nukes, but then it fell apart because.
So you want to know some shit too from not from a political standpoint. Again, I always advise that. The biggest fucking crime of this shit, or biggest, I meant crime, oopsie. Big fucking oopsie.
Oopsie.
I guess we'll call it. Okay.
I love
it. Call it what it is. Let's call it a mistake, even though I don't think politicians really make mistakes because they kind of fucking know everything.
What they're doing.
They have the
and
information.
what's going on. Yeah. Or they make very little mistakes. I think they make calculated decisions in time. But
I see what you mean. Yeah.
President Clinton did the Budapest memorandum, and that when Russia and Ukraine were annoyed at each other and fighting over each other, it made Ukraine get rid of its nuclear warheads so that Russia would be at peace with them. And President Clinton was one of the main people that pushed that. Again, not a political stance from a party stance, just a fact. I mean, that is
just pointing it out.
And I honestly like.
That's why we're fucking here. Like, if they had a nuke, they'd be like, "We're just gonna fucking nuke you. If you step into our fucking country, we will just."
Well, no, because that just would have escalated things even further.
No, it wouldn't have went anywhere. I think it would have.
War games.
I'm on the opposite side of that. I think that it would have.
I think he would have went to like Estonia or something like that instead. You know what I mean?
Putin is still going to try and be like, Ukraine is essentially a part of Russia. It was a part of the Soviet Union. They are they're very closely related to the point where Ukrainians used to believe that Russia was essentially like their brothers, like Ukraine having just a couple of nukes wasn't going to change anything. Either Ukraine had to have a massive abundance of nukes, or in order for that to affect
things. They just had a couple. How many?
No, that's what he's saying.
How many nukes do you think Russia has?
Too many.
Russia has over 100,
over 6,000,
probably more. Yeah, I don't even know.
5,997.
Okay, yeah, that's absurd.
I was close. I said
that is
6,000.
absurd. And so Ukraine having 100 nukes is not going to matter to Russia because they have so fucking many.
Yeah, we have 37.
To the point where they just have to go. Ukraine just has to go. We just have to let it lie in the hands of everyone else
but
to
no
try
one's
and
gonna do
protect
anything
us
about it.
because
This is the problem. We're fucked. We're fucked either way. This is a complete war because
still-
there's nothing. There's nothing we can
I
do.
agree.
We can't
I
go
agree
in.
in that
We can't
sense
go
of
in
like,
because
you
it
can't-
escalates. We can't continue to put sanctions because it escalates. Like the problem is too is like not only the nuclear stuff.
well,
but
but
the
then
cyber
if
stuff.
you have
You can
if
do
you have
whatever
a
the
bunch of
fuck
nukes,
you want with cyber
if
shit.
you have a bunch of nukes, that's just going to escalate as well. It doesn't matter what you do, and that's the
no,
point
but
I
you don't
wanted
have
to
to
try to
fire
get
nukes,
to.
dude. If you want to kill a bunch of fucking people, you go ahead and you shut down a fucking grid. You shut down some hospitals. Just kill people. I mean, it takes nothing. I'd rather, if I was gonna like run a fucking war or whatever, I would rather take one dude behind a computer than 10 guys in a fucking tank. Like, what are 10 guys in a tank gonna
In
do?
this day and age?
Kill maybe
Yeah.
like 100 fucking people. I can just go and fucking just set some shit out. You know, it's dead winter in
topple
fucking
your-
Utah, and
Yeah.
I'll just shut the fucking power off for the next couple of months, make people migrate to the next state, fuck that economy up, take out grids for hospitals, kill a bunch of people senselessly in the hospital by not having
Right.
any
Yeah.
surgery. So,
You're
I mean,
in fact, I'm gonna have paranoia here in a minute. Like, holy fuck, bro! If I can't play my games, what am I gonna do?
I mean, like that's the thing, right? So like it's changed. Like no one has to come over here. No one has to think of logistics for it. It's all through the internet. It's done. It's over with. So like all that's gonna happen here is there's gonna be sanctions. Companies are gonna countries are gonna provide equipment, food, whatever, right? From the Western countries, right? Russia's gonna have that on their notes, and you know everyone can try their hardest to try to keep it secure, but Russia's going to cyber attack something huge. Fucking oil pipelines, natural gas pipelines. Think about the natural gas pipeline shuts down for a couple of days. If it shuts down just for a couple of days, you and key strategic plants and pumping plants, you could just not have heat at people's house for the next couple of months.
Right? Yeah.
What do you do with no
but
heat?
that's-
What do you do with no heat in the 21st century in 2022? You think people can survive properly? In the dead of
Well,
winter?
and that's what I'm saying. What does
yeah,
it
like in
matter
Texas,
then?
bro? You get like a fucking week-long ice storm. A couple people die, and
that's
you know
that's-
they're ill prepared.
And that's why I'm saying, like, what does it matter if Ukraine has nukes or not? Like,
I think
If-
I think it
Russia's
matters from the
going-
very beginning in the basis that it is an
That's what I was gonna say.
absolute deterrent to the point where it's like, look, like
well, no, because sorry, continue. I
they
didn't
can
mean to
just
cut
nuke
you
them.
off.
That's
Well,
always
but
on the
I
table.
mean, you have Ukraine is a part of NATO,
Why
so
won't
it
Russia
doesn't
attack
matter
the United
if
States?
it doesn't matter if Ukraine itself has nukes. The moment that Russia or anyone else does anything, NATO has nukes.
NATO,
and
yeah, NATO's. I don't know.
Can respond.
I
It does. I
feel
mean,
like
we have
NATO's
we
kinda
have
like,
nukes in every country, most likely. I don't know
Yeah.
the
I mean,
specifics of it, but like
nukes matter
like,
though, bro.
You're raw, like
Nukes do matter.
Finland, Latvia, Belarus, fucking Poland. All of almost all of these places have nukes from NATO.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if
they're not getting
have
touched
it.
by Russia.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But like, think about if
thing
Russia want to take Alaska, they won't take it though because you have nukes.
Well, and that's the thing and that's like why we're not
Well,
going in
no,
is because
it's the same thing.
Russia basically said if you send your troops over here, you're gonna experience consequences. Motherfuckers, I'm just gonna say, and I said this the other day when I was talking to Nick. I was like, just show Putin War Games starring Matthew Broderick.
I mean,
When
Show
they use
him
the
the end.
fucking when they use the fucking Whopper and the Whopper goes, oh yeah, the only way you win a nuclear war is by not starting one, because if
Everybody loses.
they make Steam games about this shit where you can literally play as a country and you can nuke Poland and then
Yeah.
you can see how that affects South Africa nuking Egypt for some fucking reason, and then Britain nukes Canada.
Yeah, it just
Shit
makes
doesn't
it
even make
okay.
sense.
It just makes it okay.
Yeah,
to do it.
it's when you step up and you launch the first one, every other country goes, well, shit, if they did it, then so can we.
Here's the
And
only
that's
difference
biggest-
with America is I think the difference is that we have nuked somebody.
we're the only person, we're the
Sorry,
only
Japan.
country in history to actually
drop that
use
shit.
them.
Twice.
Yeah,
Twice.
exactly. We did it once, and Japan was like, "We're still gonna hold out," and then we
And
did it
did-
again. They're like,
Yeah,
"All right,
yeah.
no, we're done. We're not doing this shit."
No,
anymore."
yeah, and that's the fucking thing. So it's like you can attest
Yeah.
it, right? Like we can sit there and be like, okay, you're gonna nuke them. It's like, no, we did nuke.
yeah.
And that's the thing is, I think not people maybe, but like at least the heads of these countries are forgetting is like, show them a fucking picture of that shit and be like, this is what we had back then. The first
Yeah,
one we
yeah,
made.
dude,
Ooh.
20 times over. 20
Yeah.
times over, it has
The first
progressed.
ones we made, dude. And now look at what we've got. I mean, you know, fucking Putin's just sitting over there looking at the
Googling
Tsar
right now.
Bomba.
But the problem is, like, okay, we've progressed our nukes 20 times over. They've progressed their nukes 12 to 15 times over.
Well, I mean,
Actually,
I don't know. The
Russia
Russians
had-
Russia has
Russia
the
had
explosion.
The
Fuck.
biggest,
At
the biggest
approximately
nuclear at the
11:30.
Tsar Bomba.
Yeah. So Tsar Bomba was dropped over Mitsushika Shika Bay test site on the deserted island of Novaya Zemlya. It exploded 2.5 miles, 4 kilometers above the ground, producing a mushroom cloud more than 37 miles high. And the
Yeah.
flash of the detonation was seen some 620 miles away.
The shockwave of the Tsar Bomba and I want to stress this. The Tsar Bomba that we know that we have measured and calculated at how big it was at like 50%. Okay? So double everything that we are saying right now. That is the max potential at the current moment.
A 30
shockwave-
kiloton atomic bomb can destroy 4 kilometers, completely destroyed.
The shockwave
30.
of the test of the Tsar Bomba was literally felt around the world 2 to 3 times over. Meaning that the shockwave literally traveled around the entire
Bro,
Earth
fuck that in
2
here,
to 3
fucking
times.
Sarbamba.
And that was at like 50%.
Get out of here with your shitty Star Wars character names, bro.
Sarbamba.
Sarbamba.
So
The
comparing
assassin.
it, so
Fucking Jar Jar Binks and shit.
Jar Jar Binks
This
and
is
Sarbamba.
this is the most powerful nuke in the world. We called it Jar Jar Binks.
Misa can bring you in alive, or Misa can bring you in big, dude.
So a
Misa
1,000
gonna
kiloton,
ruin your life.
a 1,000 kiloton nuclear or atomic bomb, can affect an area of up to 100 kilometers.
That's
said how
like
much is that?
That is more than an
1,000
entire
kilotons?
country.
1,000 kilotons. Is that
That's
so?
not
Would that
more
be
than
one
an entire
megaton?
country.
Would
100
that be a
kilometers?
megaton?
No. For the initial explosion, no.
Oh.
For the fallout, the
Wow, it
radiation that comes from that going into the atmosphere literally will ruin half of the world. That's why nukes are so fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Because if you have a full strength Tsar Bomba from Russia, literally will like destroy all of Europe. That's a problem. That's a problem. And that's what NATO is for. That's why we're saying, hey, Ukraine, you don't need any nukes because fucking USA and Britain have quite a bit of nukes to the point where we can take care of you.
Jesus.
Hold on, I'm doing math real quick.
Okay, do
Sorry.
math.
You guys are both doing math at a very terrible time because it's just me. I need help.
So that's what? That's one.
It's fucking
So it's
crazy.
a megaton is a
So-
billion kilograms. So the Tsar Bomba had a blast yield of 50 to 58 megatons. The biggest
At
nuke that
half
the U.S.
strength.
Yeah, the
At half strength.
The B-53 nuclear bomb, the biggest one that the most powerful one that
Who
the
owns
United
that
States
one?
has made. That was us.
Okay. All right.
Take a guess at how much our yield is.
Hold on. Remind me how much was Russia?
50, right?
50 to 58.
Then ours is going to be like
4,000
28.
tons or something like that. 4,000.
No. Much less. Like 20. Like
Dude, this is
28.
the US of A, baby. We're not doubling. We're quadrupling.
I'm going to say we
9.
didn't go
9,000?
No, 9. The number
Just
9.
9. Just 9. Right. That's
9
what I'm saying.
megatons. Yeah.
There's
9
no way
megatons.
that we took it that far because we have the scientists
9.
that are like, hey guys,
The
this is
number
pretty
9.
fucked up.
I know,
This is pretty fucked up.
Number 9. The number 9,
no.
dude.
No, we've been very aware of like, hey, this is probably not okay. Let's not go all out with it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. The B-53 has been retired. It is not our most powerful one. The most powerful one we have now is the B-83, which is a higher number, but the maximum yield, 1.2 megatons. 1.2.
I mean, here's the thing, though. If you want to use nuclear warheads, I feel like you would rather use smaller ones and plaster them all over the place than drop a big old beefy boy. You know what I mean?
That's a good point, and I would agree with that too. And then
because
the
of the
other thing is on
fallout,
top
and
of
then
that,
you can like strategically be like, yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this like 4 kilometers here and just kind of fuck it up.
the other thing is too is that so the B-83 is a variable yield thermonuclear gravity bomb. That sounds badass. That was developed in the late 70s and entered service in 83. The difference between the two is that the Tsar Bomba is a hydrogen bomb and that it uses deuterium and tritium. So that's what increases its blast shield. It has been tested 4 times, I think. Or the
Jesus
B-83.
Christ, we didn't get enough.
B-83. Oh, I'm sorry. The B-83 was not tested. I'm sorry. Or no, B-83 was test fired on 1984, December 15th, at a reduced yield of 80 kilotons due to the threshold test ban treaty. So yeah, like there's a treaty about like it was originally that you had to test them, but then you had to lower them to a certain amount, and then you can't do it anymore. You can't do them in space. You can't do them on land.
You can only do it in like the upper atmosphere, but that shit still spreads across the entire world.
Yeah, which is why people just don't do it anymore.
Right.
Hilariously, the threshold test ban treaty was signed to the United States and the Soviet Union because we were the only people who were consistently doing it, whereas Britain and everybody else was like, bro, we got them. Why we keep testing this shit? Like, we know they work. What's the point?
Because so bigger is better.
Yeah, but that was better. The whole thing was just like bigger bomb, bigger dick. But
it's not wrong.
About 650 B-83s were built, and the weapon remains in service as part of the enduring stockpile, which I'm assuming is it's the arsenal of nuclear weapons following the end of the Cold War. Active service, we have, those are fully operational, connected to a delivery system and activated for immediate use. Hedge stockpile, which is fully operational but kept in storage. And then the inactive is they can be made ready, but they are not in operational condition or do not have readily available systems. In 2004, the stockpile included 5,886 strategic warheads and 1,120 tactical weapons. The strategic weapons included almost 1,500 ICBMs, 2,700 submarine-launched ballistic missiles.
Why would you need that many?
That's the thing, and that's what I was going to say.
For an all-out war.
That's the thing.
No, you wouldn't. Even if you launched like 1,500 ICBMs, you literally like if you launch 1,500 ICBMs, like let's say Ukraine, there's not enough land area to hit. You start hitting twice.
You're spreading. Yeah, it's spreading into the other countries, and it's just not doing anything.
That's
which
what
is
I'm saying.
That's
the
crazy
the
thing.
world. That's why nukes are terrible.
1,660 bomber weapons. Yeah, 1,660 bomber weapons, such as the B-61s and B-83 gravity bombs. Gravity bombs sounds so cool. And then an AGM-86, ALCM, and several hundred spare warheads. The tactical weapons consist of 800 tactical B-61 gravity bombs and 320 nuclear warheads for Tomahawk missiles. The START II treaty called for a reduction to a total of 3,500 to 3,000, but was not ratified by the Russian Duma. The replacement 2002 Strategic Offensive Reductions Treaty signed in, oh, look at that, hilarious. It's George Bush and Vladimir Putin. Where have we seen him before? Delayed reductions to 2012 with a limit of 2,200 operationally deployable warheads. And then the New START Treaty in 2010 commits to lowering that to 1,550. And that was ratified by the Russian state group or whatever.
What's crazy,
too,
is the EMP that would result after a nuke.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Are you kidding?
All of your electronics would just be useless.
Everything. Yeah.
Russia's
Which
known
is
to
pretty
have...
much all of society. Like, society will crumble without electronics.
You know, it's wild. They started practicing. We'll have to wrap this up soon, but they started doing practice flights with the E-6 flight, which is the Doomsday plane.
Oh, Jesus.
Over
I love that name too.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, no, not Nebraska.
It is where the president and the highest members of
his cabinet
go. And it's a plane that is shielded from an EMP. So it'd be the last flying thing on Earth, basically, or in that area. And he can launch the nukes from the plane.
The only countries that have designed and manufactured such aircraft are the United States and the Russian Federation. Shocker. I was just looking at it real quick.
They have hypersonic nukes now.
Jesus.
Which is crazy because those aren't detectable on radar. Like you can't. How do you catch?
You can't do anything about them.
You can't do anything about it.
The Russian Federation is known to have possessed
know
3
of.
types of weapons of mass destruction that we know of: nuclear weapons, biological weapons, and chemical weapons. It is one of 5 nuclear weapon states recognized under the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. The nation approximately possesses 6,000 nuclear warheads, the largest of any country in the world. Nearly half of the world's 12,700 nuclear weapons are owned by Russia. By comparison, the United States has about 5,400. Russia's deployed missiles, which are those that are actually ready to fire at any moment, are only about 1,600.
That's still 1,600 is
still
still
so
enough
at any
to
moment.
end the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still enough to end
previously, the Soviet Union reached a peak stockpile in 1986 of 45,000 nuclear warheads.
That's so many. That's
my question, is that nobody, and this is another thing that this former Soviet Union was terrible at doing, is realizing how they pay for shit, because it's like, you're spending so much money making this shit, you only need 1,000.
You gotta look after them.
and on top that. And
that's a good point. You have to pay to watch them and make sure they don't fucking start leaking shit. And you don't want Ivan just to be leaning on there smoking a ciggy and all of a sudden that shit arms.
MasterCard officially blocks multiple financial institutions over sanctions on Russia, and also Disney has decided that it will pull all films from Russia and theatrical releases. Yeah,
boy.
No,
honestly, the Pornhub ban on Russia is more impactful than the Disney ban. Yeah,
that's gonna NordVPN, our sponsor today. Speaking of,
that shit just went up.
Oh, dude. The guys at NordVPN are like, holy shit, bro, we're getting a lot of people signing up for our service in Russia. What's going on? Like, they can't watch porn, bro. What do you mean?
You're just some fucking 12-year-old in Moscow. You touched a titty for the first time. You're trying to go home and blow a load, and you're like, what the fuck is this? I can't get a porno.
I can't do anything. God damn you, Putin.
Oh, man. Fuck, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Can I say something while you figure it out?
Yeah, go ahead. I lost it.
Despite being a signatory to the Chemical Weapons Convention, Russia continues to hold and occasionally use chemical weapons. In 1997, Russia declared an arsenal of 39,967 tons of chemical weapons, which it worked in part to decrease. Its stock of weapons was declared destroyed in 2017, but the poisoning of Sergei and Yulia Skripal in 2018, and the poisoning of Alexei Navalny, who is Putin's biggest rival, were both carried out by Russia, revealed that the country maintained an illicit chemical weapons program. The only thing this actually shows up.
Just a Putin in a
this actually shows up here. 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. During the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the Russians threatened to use nuclear weapons. The Russians were condemned over this. I mean, yeah, and that's the biggest thing, and the thing to take away is that. The funny thing is that nobody, or maybe they do understand and they just don't care. But
I think
this isn't the. I think it's just that they don't care, because they're just like, Putin's just like, well, whatever, who cares if I get Ukraine and then I just nuke everybody? It's like, dude, you're not gonna be alive to tell the tale. Nobody's gonna be alive.
He's 69 years old. He doesn't give a shit. He's living life.
Oh, this is why.
I mean, 69 years old. That's the time to do all of the cool shit.
That's what he's doing. He's celebrating his 69th birthday. You know, here's the thing, man. When I become president, that's going to be my first thing. Is I'm setting a term limit, and it's going to be like, if you are fucking 60 years old, you cannot run. Stop trying.
Fair enough.
You're on the out.
Yeah. Like, I think you'd get a lot of
good luck.
Buy-in.
Good luck passing that through Congress with all of them 60+ year olds.
Send it to the young people and be like, no, like, and that's the biggest thing, right? Is it's a selfish need where it's like,
would tell me what to do?
Yeah, would
man,
you
I've been dealing
honestly?
With my whole life, bro.
Okay. Oh, hold on. You own a restaurant, all right? In this scenario, you own a restaurant or some type of business, right?
Okay.
Yeah. A 70-year-old comes in and tries to apply for the job of being a waiter or a fucking busboy or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you gonna hire them?
No.
Probably not, right? Why the fuck are we letting these people run our country?
Like Nancy Pelosi, you can't stand up fast. Why are you the Speaker of the House?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your knees buckle every time you try to stand up, guess what? Probably shouldn't be running the country.
if my president is sitting at the Resolute desk and he has to stand up and he has to get up, it's like, no, just stop, resign, you're done, you need to go and take a nap and you need to hang out with your family.
Enjoy your fucking golden years. Stop trying to run the country when you're out of touch.
Like, Bernie Sanders has 3 heart attacks on the campaign trail. They're like, yeah, he's just doing so much work. It's like, no, he's old.
Right.
Yeah. I loved the idea of Bernie just himself.
Go spend time. Like, then this is from me. I'm 22 years old, but if I were in his, if I was in his position and I was given the chance to run for president or just spend time with my grandkids, my great grandkids, and my family, I would just spend time with my family. I've done enough, or maybe I haven't done enough, depending on which party you listen to or what things you listen to. But like, I just, as a human being, I don't have the time to care about it. I just have to go and do my thing. And
if you were old enough to legally like retire, you shouldn't be having a job as a senator or any sort of Congress member or anything of the sorts. Just saying.
Yeah.
I think we'll eventually get there. It's just there's a bunch of people that have been doing the same fucking shit, you know.
Yeah, man.
For years.
It's all fucked.
Where they just
it's all fucked.
Fuck
you know what pisses me off? You know what really pisses me off?
Fuck around and find out.
I finally got a free month now because I'm out of a job, and now it's gonna be all gone to shit because it's gonna be Metro Exodus in the next couple of weeks, and now I'm gonna have to learn how to survive in the Russian metro, and they're gonna be like, "What is this American doing here?" I'm gonna be like, "Bro, I played enough video games to know how this shit goes. There's going to be a couple mutants in the next couple of years. You're not going to know how to deal with it. Don't worry. Just call me Artyom. I'll take care of it.
Don't you worry.
Don't you worry. I got this.
We're about to be cosplaying IRL Stalker 2.
Yeah, man. Like, you see Stalker 2 came out? Bitch, I'm living it right now.
Yeah, I am living Stalker 2 This is fucking the craziest VR I've ever seen. It's so realistic.
Before I know we got to wrap up, but I had this one last thing that popped up to when I was talking to Nick the other day. Was he's talking to me and they had just invaded Ukraine or whatever, and they had taken over Chernobyl, and I was like, man, I gotta say, if I were the Ukrainian president and I was a real petty motherfucker, I'd wait till they were just about to attack, and then I'd launch a missile at the concrete structure that holds all the radiation in, and just let that shit blow up. Be like, yeah, you got the country now, bitch, but it's pretty worthless. And then they're like,
I think Ninja Turtle of a fucking army, bro.
Oh no, that reminds me of what I was gonna say earlier.
What were you gonna say?
Of what I was gonna say earlier. So Russia had like Russian spies in the U.S. during the Cold War. Yeah, and they were trying to steal, documents and like formulas for, nuclear explosions and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But of course they didn't have the full picture. So for the first couple of years that Russia was trying to develop this stuff, they didn't know how to like properly properly dispose of nuclear waste. So they were just dumping that shit into lakes and fucking onto soil and stuff. So there is literally, I think there is a lake, and I think it's not too far from Tiumen, Russia. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but
I don't know.
It like right in the middle of Russia, right like around Tiumen, where there's like a lake that has been so polluted from radioactivity waste, that like
fantastic.
If you dip your fucking finger, like you dip your foot in it, and you have radiation sickness, and you're going to die in like a week. That's the type of shit that's been going on in Russia. So for them to have like 46,000 nukes, or 4,600 nukes, that's not good. That's not good at all.
It's not at all. Shall I wrap it up, boys?
I think so.
With it. Yeah,
although I do, hold on, almost as important news. All right, it's pretty damn close. It's up there. TikTok expands maximum video length to 10 minutes.
I don't understand that, because
wasn't it supposed to be like Vine?
Yeah, I don't fucking get that.
Yeah,
like, why do you want to sit there and watch a 9 or 10 minute fucking video? It's supposed to be a quick thing. I don't have TikTok, but like every one of these fucking short story companies comes in, they make a short video publishing network, And then they make it a long video, and I'm like, and then they die, and I go, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, they die every time they do it.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. I
think
felt that
TikTok's
was very
fucking awful.
relevant
It's
information.
Fucking Chinese spyware, but that's another fucking.
Oh, it is.
That's another
It is.
fucking.
And
voice.
it's almost entirely fucking ethot thirst traps. I go to
why I
Facebook
don't have
for
it.
my TikToks because Facebook does not include the 90% of thirst traps. I just get to see the good shit. That's
the funny
That's
shit.
my TikTok. It's going to Facebook.
It's a filter.
That's how bad it is.
That's a filter that that's fantastic. All right, we can wrap it up though. I'm
Cool.
happy.
All right,
I had
guys.
to
Well,
meme
thank
at
you
the
for
end,
listening to this
sorry.
episode of OBO. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, we return next week and the world isn't nuked. But until then, we'll have to catch you later. See you
I hope
around.
not. If it happens, it was me. I did it.
That's not surprising.
It was
Hit the
Evan in
big
the
fucking-
ballroom with the nuke.